For 20 years, I watched my stepmother and father pour $500,000 into my stepsister's perfect life while I got nothing but demands to be independent. On her wedding day, she handed me a pile of dirty laundry and told me to clean before I could join as a dishwasher. My father laughed along with them. That was the day I disappeared. 6 years later, I got a phone call that would change everything. My name is Rebecca Hayes, and this is the story of how I went from the forgotten daughter to the one holding all the cards. I was 8 years old when my father remarried. My mother had died 2 years earlier, and he moved on fast. Too fast. Linda came into our lives with her daughter Ashley, who was exactly my age. From the very first day, I knew things would never be the same. Ashley became the golden child. Everything revolved around her. Her needs, her wants, her dreams. I became background noise in my own father's house. Education told the whole story. Ashley got private schools, personal tutors, a college fund that covered every expense. $150,000 spent on her education alone. Me, public school, part-time jobs starting at 15, student loans I would be paying off for years. When I asked my father why, he would say the same thing every time. Ashley needs more support. You are stronger, Rebecca. You will be fine. I lived in a small room with old furniture and hand-me-down clothes. Ashley's room was redecorated 3 times. Designer, everything. Family photos lined the hallway walls, and I started noticing I was barely in them. Cropped out, standing at the edge, or missing entirely. Holidays and birthdays were the worst. Ashley would open elaborate gifts while I got practical items or nothing at all. The message was always clear. Be independent. Ashley needs us more. By the time Ashley's wedding came around, they had already spent $500,000 on her entire life, $200,000 just for the wedding itself. Luxury venue, 300 guests, designer dress, destination bachelorette party. I was invited but not asked to be in the wedding party. Ashley told me I would not fit the aesthetic anyway. Linda planned everything around her precious daughter and acted like I did not exist. I was expected to help with preparations. Address envelopes, run errands, be useful. But I was not invited to the bridal shower or bachelorette party. My father sat me down one evening. I know this is hard, he said. But Ashley is getting married. This is her moment. I looked at him. When is my moment, Dad? He shifted uncomfortably. When you earn it yourself. That is what your mother would have wanted. The mention of my mother felt like a knife. He did not know her at all by the end. Wedding day arrived and I was expected to attend. I helped set up even though I was not part of anything. Then, hours before the ceremony, Ashley found me. She handed me a basket of dirty laundry, hers and the bridesmaids' clothes from getting ready. Be a dear and wash these, she said, and while you are at it, clean the washing machine. It has been acting up. I stared at her. You want me to do laundry on your wedding day? She smiled. Well, you are not doing anything else important. Oh, and clean out the guest rooms. People will need somewhere to rest later. Linda walked in and overheard. That is perfect, Rebecca. Very helpful. When you are done, you can come to the venue. I looked at her confused. Come to the venue? She smiled coldly. Yes, we will need someone to help with dishes during the reception. The caterers said they are short-staffed. Ashley laughed. See? You get to participate after all. I looked at my father standing in the doorway. He had heard everything. Dad? He shifted his weight, would not meet my eyes. Rebecca, just help out, okay? It is one day. Do not make a scene. Linda laughed harder. Oh, Michael, she always makes everything about her. Something inside me shattered. I looked at the laundry basket, at Ashley in her expensive outfit, at Linda's cruel smile, at my father's weak face. I set down the basket, walked upstairs to my small room, and packed a single bag. I looked around at 20 years of being pushed aside, overlooked, treated as less than human. Then I walked out the back door while everyone was busy with wedding preparations. No note, no goodbye, No explanation. I drove to a friend's place across the state and turned off my phone for 3 days. When I finally turned it on, there were 47 missed calls. My father said I embarrassed them, that Ashley was devastated I missed her wedding. Linda called me ungrateful. Ashley said I was selfish. I blocked them all. For the first time in my life, I felt free. 2 weeks later, I received a certified letter from an attorney. My late mother's family attorney, someone I did not even know existed. He requested a meeting. When I arrived, he slid documents across his desk. Your mother left instructions that I contact you when you turn 25, or earlier if you tried to legally separate from your father. My mother had a trust fund, money from her own family that she never told my father about. In her final months, sensing something was wrong, she protected it. $800,000. He handed me a letter she had written. I read it through tears. My mother knew my father was weak, knew he might remarry someone who would not treat me well. Be strong, my darling, she wrote. Be independent not because they force you to be, but because you choose to be. This money is your freedom. Use it wisely. I stared at the bank statement showing $800,000. My mother had protected me even from the grave. For 2 weeks, I had been lost and broken. Now I knew exactly what I was going to do. I enrolled in business school the next day. My family thought I had disappeared in shame. They had no idea I was building something they could never imagine. 6 years passed and I became someone they would not recognize. I used my mother's inheritance strategically. Business school, certifications, networking with the right people. I became an investment banker at a top firm in the city. I lived in a beautiful apartment, drove a car I actually liked, traveled when I wanted. I was successful, confident, completely transformed, and I had zero contact with my family for all those years. Sometimes I would check their social media from a distance. Ashley's life looked perfect online, married to Derek, a self-proclaimed entrepreneur. Lots of posts about their amazing life together. But I noticed things they probably did not want anyone to see. Derek never seemed to actually work. Every photo was about spending money, never saving it. The cracks were there if you knew where to look. Then I got a LinkedIn message from an old colleague. Is not Ashley Hayes your sister? Just wanted to give you a heads up. There is talk she is involved in some shady loan situation at her firm. I had connections in finance now, so I investigated discreetly. What I found was worse than I expected. Ashley worked as an accountant at a mid-size firm. Derek had convinced her to process an unofficial loan for his so-called business venture. She bypassed proper channels and used her position to approve $250,000. Derek's business did not exist. He took the money and disappeared. Ashley was facing termination and possible criminal charges. But it got worse. I learned that Ashley and Derek had bought a house using a $150,000 down payment gift from my father and Linda. The mortgage was $450,000 and the house was worth about $600,000. With Derek gone and Ashley about to lose her job, she could not make the payments. Foreclosure proceedings had already begun. My father and Linda had no money left to help. They had already given Ashley everything they had. Their retirement accounts were drained from funding her lifestyle. I watched all of this unfold from a distance, feeling absolutely nothing. Then my phone rang. My father's number. I had never deleted it, just never answered. I stared at the screen and for some reason, I picked up. His voice was desperate. Rebecca. I know I have no right to ask, but we need help. I agreed to meet them at a coffee shop. I arrived in designer clothes with the confidence of someone who had built themselves from nothing. My father and Linda looked older, worn down by stress. Ashley was there too. She looked devastated and exhausted. My father started carefully. You look successful. I nodded. I am. Linda could not help herself. Must be nice. Some of us have real responsibilities. I did not take the bait. My father explained that Ashley was losing the house and they had no money left to help. The bank was foreclosing in 30 days. We were hoping maybe you could help. Family helps family. I almost laughed out loud. Family helps family? Ashley spoke for the first time. I know we were not close, but I am desperate. I have nowhere to go. I looked at my father. Where were you when I needed family? When I was doing laundry on her wedding day? He looked down, ashamed. I was wrong. I know that now. Linda rolled her eyes. Oh, please. You are going to hold a grudge over some laundry? I stood to leave. My father grabbed my arm gently. Please, I am begging you. I failed you, but do not punish Ashley for my mistakes. I paused at the door. I will think about it. 3 days later, my attorney contacted them with a proposal. We met at his office and I presented my offer. I would buy the house for market value, $600,000. This would pay off the mortgage and save Ashley's credit from complete destruction. Ashley could rent it from me for $4,000 a month, which was fair market rate. Or she could move out within 10 days. The contract terms were non-negotiable. Ashley would be my tenant with all standard lease terms. Late rent meant standard penalties. If she wanted to buy it back eventually, I would consider it at whatever the market value was at that time. My father looked shocked. You are charging your own sister rent? I met his eyes. I am offering to save her from foreclosure. She can accept or decline. Linda's face turned red. This is cruel. You have become heartless. I smiled slightly. No, I have become independent. Like you always wanted. Ashley stared at the contract with shaking hands. I do not have a choice, do I? I stood and gathered my things. You have 10 days to decide. After that, my offer expires. I walked out of that office feeling nothing. No triumph, no guilt. Just cold satisfaction. They had 10 days to decide whether Ashley would become my tenant or lose everything. My father, who told me to be independent while funding my stepsister's every dream, now had to watch me hold all the power. And for the first time in my life, I was not going to apologize for it. On day 8, Ashley signed the contract. She had nowhere else to go and no other options. My attorney processed everything quickly. Clean sale, mortgage paid off in full, Ashley's credit saved from complete ruin. Within 2 weeks, the closing was done. I paid cash from my investments. Ashley went from homeowner to tenant in the house she thought would always be hers. First rent payment was due in 30 days. The whole family was humiliated, but they had zero leverage. Linda tried to negotiate. Can you at least lower the rent? She is family. I looked at her calmly. This is market rate. She is getting a fair deal. My father said nothing. He knew he had created this entire situation and there was no one else to blame. I became a landlord to my own stepsister. Professional, fair, but completely distant. Rent was due on the 1st of every month. Late fees applied on the 6th. Standard landlord-tenant relationship. No family favors, no special exceptions. Month 3, Ashley was late with rent. I sent the standard late notice through my property management system. She called me crying. Can you just give me a few days? I kept my voice neutral. The lease is clear. You have until the 10th before additional penalties apply. She paid on the 9th, humiliated. 6 months after I bought the house, my father requested a private meeting. Just the two of us. No Linda, no Ashley. We met at the same coffee shop where this had all started. He looked even older now, completely defeated. I need to say something I should have said 6 years ago. I failed you. I listened, but said nothing. Your mother, when she was dying, she told me to protect you. To make sure you were okay. His voice cracked. I remarried too fast. I let Linda and Ashley become my whole world. I forgot I already had a daughter who needed me. My expression did not change. That day at the wedding, when Ashley handed you that laundry, I saw your face. I saw you break, and I did nothing. There were tears in his eyes now. I do not expect forgiveness, but I need you to know I see it now. What I did, what I did not do. I finally spoke. You are right. You failed me, for 20 years. He nodded, accepting it. But I did not need you to succeed. That is what you never understood. I did not need your money or Linda's approval or Ashley's scraps. I just needed you to see me. He looked up. I see you now, and I am so sorry I wasted so much time. I leaned back in my chair. I did not buy that house for revenge, Dad. He looked confused. I could have let the bank take it, let her credit be destroyed. Let her face the full consequences of marrying a con artist and making terrible decisions. I pulled out a folder and slid it across the table, but I gave her a stable rental rate, a secure lease, and a chance to rebuild. That is more than she ever gave me. He read through the documents, understanding finally dawning on his face. You are not punishing us. I shook my head. I am not the villain here. I am the one who solved the problem you created by playing favorites for 20 years. He looked up. Linda thinks you are punishing us. I gathered my things. Linda will think whatever she wants. She always has. But you know the truth now. As I stood to leave, he asked quietly, Can we try again? Father and daughter? I considered this carefully. Maybe. Someday. But not today. Today I have a life I built without you. And I am not ready to risk it yet. I drove back to my apartment thinking about my mother. She gave me $800,000 and a letter telling me to be strong. I used it to become someone who did not need revenge because I did not need their validation anymore. Ashley lives in that house and pays rent on time now. My father calls occasionally and I sometimes answer. Linda still thinks I am heartless. And me? I am free. I am successful. I am independent, not because they forced me to be, but because I chose to be. My mother would be proud. And honestly, that is the only opinion that ever really mattered. Thanks for listening to the end. If you believe that the best revenge is becoming someone who does not need it anymore, do not forget to like and subscribe for more stories of betrayal, growth, and unexpected justice.